Hello, Beez Bladers. Welcome back and welcome newcomers to the channel. Today I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and check out a different style knife, and it looks so sweet. And thank you to my patrons, thank you channel members, and thank you all my subscribers. You guys and gals are freaking amazing. I appreciate you so much. And I'm going to get in here because this one looks really excited. It kind of reminds me of a fixed blade. Well, it reminds me a lot of a fixed blade. And if you like bushcraft and camping and that kind of stuff, I think this one's going to be right up your alley. And I think it's going to be right up my alley. At least I'm hoping so from what I've seen and heard about it. Are you ready to check it out? Let's get in here. One of the Beez Hive channel members contacted me and said, hey, would you like to check this one out? I'd like to donate it to the channel if you would. And I was like, yes, that looks sweet. Nice. I'm so glad I didn't have to cut that off. So here we go. It's a Sanrenmu or SRM 1006. And I'm just checking out the box. Model 1006. Yeah, not a whole lot to it. So let's get it. Let me get a knife so we don't rip this up. I'm going to get this one right here. Be really careful, because you never know when I'm going to give a knife away. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it feels like it has some heft to it. You have some tactical foam, and that's it. Not a whole lot to it. A little bit of silica going on for the trolls. I heard someone else say that. And oh man, would you look at this? Yes, I've been wanting a bigger knife with a bigger handle. I've been handling and showing you guys and gals a lot of the same size knives lately, and this is fitting the bill. This is what I was looking for. This is the Sanrenmu Rattlesnake. I'm pretty sure the name of this one is the Rattlesnake. And look at the handles on that sucker. Would you look at them? Just look at them. Wow. Can't wait to get into this one. Yeah, it's a beast. And this is like, my opinion already is that this is going to feel like a total bushcraft knife, except for it's not a fixed blade. And there you can see Sandvik 14C28N. That's right, you heard it. Oh, yes. Deep carry pocket clip, no screws in the shade. And it does have a, what do you call that? A breaker of glass, a breaker of the glass variety. And I saw another review on it, and they were talking about this is really hardened, so this would really do the job. And that you can remove this and replace it with the screw if you want to. And it's reversible. But you ready to see this blade? Let's check it out. Pow! Oh, yes. Look at that. That is sweet. Scandi grind. Oh, mama. Wow, that is cool. Wow. All right, so I'm going to sit here and just stare at the knife while you guys are like, are you going to tell us something about it? Well, hey, I get to check it out too, right? Let's go from one end to the other right now while we're right up in here. Get up all in its business, and we'll go over the action, the ergos. And you know what? We're going to take it apart, see what's on the inside. Look at that. Very nice. As far as the sharpening choil, boy, the sharpening choil ends right at the end of the plunge grind. Very nice. Give you some texture vision. There's a little bit of texture vision for you. And you can see that it has lines going, I don't know, what was that, perpendicular to the knife? That's too big of a word, man. Too big of a word. Has some major good texture. Now, the G10 itself doesn't have a lot of texture, but these waves give it all the texture that you need right there. Man, we're going to see what it looks like on the inside. I can already see some holes for milling, for weight reduction, full back spacer all the way up. Man, that's pretty cool. And then you have this feature right here. It has a lock. You push that up and it'll keep it from unlocking. That's just an extra on there. And you can also take this out if you don't want it too. And at the time of this video's posting, these run about like $35.99 or something like that, like 36 bucks on Amazon. So this is, I mean, for 14C, are you kidding me? Tell you what, let's get the specs and do them in less than 60 seconds and get into the fun stuff. All right, let's see what this beastly knife weighs. I don't think it's quite 7. I'm going to go with 6.5. And it is, ooh, 6.57. Yes, I'm on a roll. Are you ready? Are you set? Let's go. So your total length from tip to tip is 8.22 inches. You have a Scandi grind on what I'm calling a spear point or maybe a drop point. You tell me. You have a Sandvik 14C28N steel with a satin finish. Your blade length from the scale to the tip is 3.54 inches. Your sharpened blade length is 3.64 inches. Your blade width 1.27 inches. And your blade stock thickness is 154 thousandths of an inch. Your thickness behind the edge is surprisingly 20 thousandths of an edge. Of an inch, and it goes up to 31 thousandths. Your handle material is G10, and your close length from tip to tip is 4.74 inches. Your handle width is 1.29 inches. Your close width is 1.70 inches, and your handle thickness is 0.70 inches. And your opening methods are going to be a flipper and a thumb stud, and we're going to see what's in the pivot because we're going to take it apart. And your liner lock, you have a liner lock with a secondary lock that you can remove if you want to, and this is a tip up, deep carry, reversible pocket clip. You have a T8 the pivot, T6 body screws, and this is the SRM 1006. Let's see if we have any kind of edge on this thing. Ooh, nice. Look at that, shaving the paper. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Woohoo, yes. And checking out the fit and finish, we already went up and down and got a really good look at it. It's a very, very nice looking grind, nice looking everything. It doesn't have a lot of billboarding on it. And what's our centering look like? We are dead center, and holy cow, look at the tip. That's a big tip. What do you think about that? That is not going to break off. Holy cow. How about lockup? What's our lockup? Right there at the 50% mark. You can see that mark right there, 50%. That is... oh, yes. This thing, oh my goodness, it feels like a fixed blade. No up and down, no left or right. Very solid. Let me see what it feels like in and out of my pocket. And, okay, it goes in and out great. And I tell you what, this is a strong pocket clip. Here's a look at the clip. No mushrooms growing in the shade because you're attached back here. And I'm not sure if you look real close at the bottom of the there's a notch on this side and a notch on this side, where you might be able to use a specific tool, but I bet if you use some pliers and something soft in between them so you don't scratch it up, you could unscrew that. I think we might give it an attempt here in just a minute, but you can reverse it, but that is a super strong clip. So if traipsing through the woods or something, this is not going to fall out of your pocket. Let's do some quick size comparisons. Here it is up next to the QSP Penguin, and yes, it is a chunker. It is a heavy duty knife. I'm going to lay it out, and you already know the drill. We're going to throw some up here and give you guys a good idea, see what it looks like. So there's the QSP Penguin, and here's another smaller one, the KIZER Small Hunter. I love this knife. This knife is so sweet, but there's a couple small ones, and now let's see if we can get closer to the size. Here's the Spyderco Mannix. Yeah, the Mannix 2 and the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. So there you go, full-size knife, no doubt about it. And how about the Ontario Rat number 1? And here's a big one, the KIZER Yan. I think this is one of the longest ones I own. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now you smell what I'm stepping in. And here's the Kubi KU901. I was trying to find some that had a similar grind, kind of like this Scandi grind. And then here's the Real Steel H6. This is a workhorse. Absolutely love this knife. And this dude's beefier than the H6. And here's two more. The Kubi KU322. Which is a big boy. Now you see what I'm talking about. Yeah, one more. Petrified Fish Beluga. So if you have a beluga, now you have an idea, because it's really hard to gauge with this knife, looking how beefy it is. Now you have a better idea if you have one of these knives. Now let's do the deployment, ergos. And if you like knife content and you like my knife content, make sure you hit subscribe and hit the bell button and select all. That way you won't miss what's coming up next. And if you want to support the channel, make sure you say something in the comments after the video. But let's get on to this. So I'm going to start with the thumb stud. Pow! Right in the kisser. Oh, yeah. Did you see that drop? Did you see it? Look at this. Man, just a little bit of gravity. Just give it a little bit of shake. Look at that snap. Here's your jimping. Check that out. Perfect. Perfect jimping. It's not aggressive, but it grabs your skin. Here's pushing straight down. Pow! That blade comes flying out with authority. There's your light switch. And can we... yeah, you can slow roll it. Oh, don't get to the ergos yet. Oh, pass through is fantastic. Yes. Left-handed, it's comfortable. This is, I mean, it's as ambidextrous as, just about as ambidextrous as you're going to get. I find it very comfortable to close a knife with my left hand like that. And yes, this is, man, oh man, look at this pass through. Those look aggressive, but they're really not. They grab your skin. You don't have to dig in. This is one of those ones I like. You just push over with your finger and it disengages. That's what I'm talking about. So this knife all day long is a fidget knife. If you like to fidget and you want a serious knife, maybe you're sitting on the fishing bank, you're not catching anything, you sit there and fidget. Can I reverse flick this? Oh, yes. Yes. So, man, all right, let's do the ergos. My hand from here to here is 4 inches. From here to here is just a shy over 3.5. From the bottom of my palm to the tip of my middle finger is 7.25. Oh, like a glove. Oh, man. That is super, super comfortable. Yeah, the hammer grip, that is just perfect all day long. The traditional grip, very comfortable. Oh my gosh, your finger just falls right here. And if you want to get up in there, look at that. Perfect thumb ramp. That is very nice. Oh my goodness, that is so comfortable. Yes, no hot spots at all. I can't even feel the pocket clip. And when I go like this, I can feel that edge. But when my hand's on it, I can't even tell there's a pocket clip on it. That's what I'm talking about. You can choke up in here and get it. And with that nice little bit of recurve right there, it's going to grab whatever you're getting into. Make you a little, what do you call those things? I can't think of it. One of you will say it in the comments. You know, when you get a stick and go like this and go all the way up and down it. I'm not talking about whittling. I'm talking about, you know, making a stick to start a fire. I can't remember. That's the fun of this. I like leaving stuff like that in the video because that makes for fun conversation. But man, this is definitely a beast, but it is not, it doesn't feel heavy. It just fits the hand so nicely. Tell you what, let's go ahead and see if we can take it apart, and then we'll come back for final thought. All right, let's get all up in here. So that's a nice sign right there. That means we're going to have probably a D-shaped pivot. Get you a Weehaw stubby bit. If you haven't watched my disassemblies, you got to get one of these. It's just like, isn't it a requirement? Not really, but I mean, you got to get you one when you need some torque. And this is coming out very nicely. I like it when it comes out very nice. All right, and you can see we do have some thread locker on there. Not a whole lot, but a good amount. So there's that, and the rest of them are all T6s. Now, I'm going to try something to see if this works. This was my idea. I got my old rusty tried and true. I've had these for like 30-some years, and I got a piece of this like toolbox liner, and I'm going to give this a shot. I don't know if it's going to move, but it's obviously made to be reversed, so short of not having a little tool that will fit down into those notches you see on the left and the right, I'm going to see if I get a hold of it. Well, this is it. I don't want to scratch it up, but I'm going to let you guys and gals see me attempt and see what happens. Can I get a hold of it? That's the question. I don't know if I'll be able to get a grip on it. Oh! It's moving. Yeah! All right, so you can. It doesn't, look at there. It's success. Now, I would use something better than this, a little thicker, because look, I did put a little nick in the metal. So you want to maybe wrap a little piece of rubber or something around it, but it will come across. And I was really getting into it. Heavy duty. I said duty. And there's your screw. So you know what? You could, I don't know. You could probably get another screw to replace it if you didn't want that in there. But I'm going to set that over there. So that came out a lot easier than I thought it was. That it would. I put a ton of pressure on it, and I scratched up the glass breaker, which I am not concerned about. So are these going to be, yep, that's T6s. And let me make sure which side we had it on. Make sure which side we were coming from. All right, we're going from this side. And, oh my gosh. Whew. Yeah, that sucker's in there. Had to give it some gumption, a little bit of gusto. Make sure when you're doing it that you're pushing and giving it pressure, because you don't want to strip and make it skip. All right, so there's that one. It looks like there's just a hair, just a wee bit of thread locker on there. And you know what? I'm going to switch over to make sure I've got some good torque with the stubby. And I'm not going to talk as much because, yeah, okay. So I'm having to give it a little bit of pressure, and then it lets go. This is where I'm usually telling you, don't forget about Beez Blades live at the Hive every Friday night from 8:15 to 8:15 to 11:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come and join us. You don't have to say anything. You can just see what's going on. We have very, very much fun every Friday night. And all of you that are watching right now that always watch my disassemblies, how are you doing? I hope you're having a good day. And if it's morning right now for you, I'm skipping. Oh man, look at here. Look what I'm doing to my bit. I need another bit. I'll be right back. All right, let's try this one. I'm gonna hold it real. There we go. There we go. So you know what I think helped was I squeezed it with my left hand, and that took a little pressure off of it. But this one is in there tight. Jeez. So the struggle is real. So there's a good example of having extra bits on hand. And that's the first WeHa bit I've ever stripped. And I've used it to do, I've taken apart like 60 knives with that bit. So I can't complain about that. Not at all. All right, so we're back in business. Whew, made me a little nervous there. I was like, am I going to be able to do this? So that can happen. Make sure you are really careful and don't strip your bits. Don't strip your bits. So there's the inside of the scale. We'll set this dude up here. And this is what it looks like. And now you can get a good... You know, I didn't even show you that lock. Remind me to show you the lock after we put it back together. But if you didn't want the lock, this piece right here just comes right off. It just sits on there. It's real simple. Really simple. And I have just a cloth with some rubbing alcohol on it. And we'll show you how to put that together. I recently just took apart a knife, the first one that I've ever had with that lock. And this is just like the last one. It has a little bit of thicker stuff on there, kind of like a lithium grease type stuff. And, you know, just for the heck of it, we're going to take that off. Yeah. So, boy, that screw, that's the toughest one. And something I didn't do, and this is something I'll tell you, because this is what I would have done. If it hadn't let go, I would have done it from the other side. Because usually if one side is too tough, stop what you're doing and go to the other side. The other side will probably be way much easier. But I was just kind of sticking to my guns by doing that side. But you don't want to take a chance of stripping your bit. I wasn't that worried about it because I have extras. But if you don't, and you get one that's like that, let me get a doodad. Got my doodads. Make sure you get you some of these doodads. I call them that. And some KPL knife pivot lube. You'll see me use that here in a minute. I have 10% off discounts to all kinds of places in the description of this video. To White Mountain Knives, KPL knife pivot lube, Lancelot leather. I mean, you name it. There's discount codes, knives, knife maintenance that I recommend. Go check all that out. And all right, so we got that. We'll set these up here. And whew, I'm telling you what, that made me nervous. That's the first time. But you know what? I was like, let it happen on camera. So here's what our ball bearings look like. And those are steel ball bearings. There's your detent hole. And there's your detent track going around there. Let's take this bearing off and clean it. Give it a little bit of rubby dub there. Very nice. Very, very nice. And you know, I got to give you a close-up of the bearings. Love those bearings. You can tell they're steel because, well, look at them. They're shiny. They're shiny. If they were dark black, they would be ceramic. 9.5 times out of 10. So I'm going to clean this all off on the center here. They're all nice and cleaned up. And you can use an old t-shirt. You don't have to use microfiber. I just, you know, I happen to have some. They're not that expensive. So I cut them up in a bunch of squares and you can wash them. If you wash them, don't use softener. At least that's what I recommend. Don't use softener. So there we are. It's all nice and cleaned up now. There's that side. And man, this thing, whew, it has a very toothy edge on it. I'm telling you what. And there's our pivot. Look at that. D-shaped pivot. And look at all that. They definitely went heavy on the Loctite, but I don't see why not. You know, you might as well, because this is a heavy duty knife. There I go saying duty again. But They went heavy on it, but this is, you know, this is a serious knife. This is not a playing around, you only going to open letters. Oh, I'm not even showing you. I'm just cleaning out the inside there a little bit. But there's that. But yeah, this is a real knife. How solid it feels in the hand is like, I just want to go out and like chop something with it. Chop down little trees or something. There, got that all nice and cleaned up. We'll get this cleaned up, and then we're going to put her back together. Yeah. So did anybody else feel the frustration when I stripped that bit? I mean, I could have kept using the bit, but I stopped and went ahead and got a different one. There we go. Nice and clean. Clean this off. And you can see how well they have it milled out for weight reduction right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back together. I'm going to get me some KPL. Knife pivot lube. And, you know, in the description, because I haven't really said much about it in this video, I have knives that I recommend, knife maintenance I recommend. I have the links to all those places, to KPL. And White Mountain Knives, I have 10% off discount code with them. So I'm using the KPL original right now. Just putting a little dabble do ya. Put just a little bit around the pivot there. There we go. There we go. And then I'm going to put some on this dude. So the construction, it's simple to take apart. It's just that they were a little heavy-handed on the Loctite. So I'm going to get the KPL heavy. Put a little bit of the heavy. Can we squeeze it without squeezing too much? That's the question. What is the deal? Is my bottle dry or what? There we go. I was too worried about getting way too much. So I'm going to put some right here, right inside there. And then I'm just going to follow that dude around. It doesn't take very much. There we go. All right. So now we can put this bad boy back together. Clean out my workstation here, move stuff out of the way. So here's all your parts. There's not a lot to it. So I'm going to put my pivot back through. And this is see this right here? That is D-shaped. That's going to match up with the D shape on your pivot. So when I put it back together, I can see my D needs to be pointing upwards. You know, it's good when your D is pointing upwards. I'm just going to leave that right there. And let's get some of this KPL and put on the old shinies. So you guys and gals have been absolutely amazing at supporting the channel. I really, really appreciate everyone that leaves comments at all the videos. That's helping with the old YouTube algorithm. And it helps let other knife lovers know that, hey, this is a knife you might want to check out. Even though there was a scary moment. Scary. It was scary for me, man. I was about to start sweating there like crazy. All right, so let's put this back on. I got that all lubed up. Everything's ready to go. And if I miss something, you guys are great at pointing it out, and it doesn't hurt my feelings. I am not thin-skinned, just saying. All right, so I'm putting all that back on there. Now, let me show you something. Is my pivot all the way through? My pivot's sticking out over here, so let me get it back, pushed through where it's supposed to be. Okay, got my pivot back through. Try not to struggle bust too much. And sometimes I get in a little rush when I'm on video. And, you know, because some folks want to watch an entire video in 2 seconds. I get it. I get it. All right. So let's get everything lined up. See if we can get it lined up. There we go. I like that. I like hearing that click. Now, that extra safety, you could leave it off and you'd have that little space in there. But okay, there's my jimping, so I know that's going to be the upside. And this is just going to fall on those 2 bumps. See those 2 bumps right there? Let me get my finger out of the way. So that's going to lock it. And you see here where it's going to lock. And when it moves back, when it's back here, you're safe. And right now, it's kind of difficult to show you exactly what that's going to look like. I'm trying to. Let's see. Lock and unlock. There we go. So now you can see that space when it's unlocked, you can move the lock bar over. And when it's up here in this position, you can't move the lock bar over. So that's how that extra safety works. I think it's actually a great idea. Why not? And you can't feel it. It doesn't get in your way. It doesn't bother you. So I kind of like that idea. So let's see if everything's going to line back up like it's supposed to. Are we lining up? Like, everything looks like it's going to line up pretty well. All right, let's put our pivot back in here. Get my old T8 out. And I don't even have it in anything right now, but I'm just going to go ahead and get it started. Just to hold everything together. So, how you doing? Are you eating breakfast? Are you eating dinner? Is this your lunchtime? How's your day going? Tell me about it. Breakfast with bees, coffee with bees. Now we shouldn't have any problems. Let's see how she goes back together. Oh yeah, yeah, that is much better. So I'm just going to get these started. And I'm going to switch this dude around. But I gotta put one more plug for Friday night because it is so much fun. We've been having so much fun and doing all the giveaways. And that's not a reason to go, but it is fun. And something else is channel members have been sending things in to give away on the giveaways, doing something kind for someone. I think that is absolutely just amazing. So I'm just putting these just barely tightened because we're going to see how it centers up. But they went back in really nicely. I'm not going to tighten that much. Let's see. Are we solid? Nope. Needs a little tightening. And I was all discombobulated. That's all right. You know, they all can't be smooth. It's okay. It's all right. It'll be okay. All right. So, golly, this thing is solid. Let's see. Oh, ha! Look at that. It's locked. Now it's unlocked. Very nice. Are we centered? Yes, we are centered. How's the action? The action's good. All right, so I could back it out just a wee bit, just a hair. Watch just how much, just a little bit. Still dead centered. Man, look at that tip. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, let's go to the big screen. Ha, caught it. Look at that, almost didn't put the clip on. So back in the pocket like this. So the clip's gonna be on this side. Now here's a prime example. Look at here. I didn't even check these and tighten them all the way down. Gotta slow down. Slow down. I try to rush and see what happens. I'm trying to catch all this stuff before you guys catch it. Say, hey, dude, did you notice that? So look at that space back there. Did we not get something aligned or tightened up? What's the issue? Ah, there we go. Now look at that. It's pushing it out because this side isn't tightened. So this is going to be interesting. Very interesting. There we go. Okay, let me get this lined up here. Now see, it's all right. I needed a curveball. And I know you guys, you can give me all the comments. I needed a curveball thrown my way. So this back spacer, it was sticking out before. Now it's not. And this screw right here is sticking out. It's not on this side, but if I screw it in, and maybe somebody can help me. But if I screw it in too tight, it starts making some space there, almost like it doesn't want to be. So I might need somebody to give me some advice on that, because when I really screw it in, it's pushing against that. So I don't know what the remedy is other than loosening this side, and that's not the remedy. So you guys just found out something that I just experienced. Pushing that in. Tightening this dude, and that's as tight as it'll go, and now I have a space. But if I let it out, and this is going to end up being a long video, but it's all right. I'll let you experience it with me. You can critique it however you want. Now see, when I loosen it a little bit, I'm lined up. So it's like it doesn't want that extra pressure. So I'm going to need the community to help me and tell me why it's doing that unless I loosen it back out. Because see, now it's tight and it looks good. So this video is going to be longer, but that's all right, because this is a learning experience for me. It's like that screw doesn't want to be tight. So I think what the remedy is I'm going to leave it in that far for now, but it's sticking out. So we'll leave it like that and see what you guys give me for advice. And I'm going to go ahead and put this pocket clip back on here. And if you're wondering yourself, believe me, there's going to be a lot of great advice in the comments. This is a perfect example of what the knife community will do and can do. Someone is going to tell me something that's going to make sense, and I'm going to really appreciate it. Let me get my pliers. All right, so I'm not going to screw this in super duper heavy. And there's probably a tool, and I know there's going to be someone in the chat that's going to be like, yeah, this is the tool. This is where you get it. And don't put a link because I don't think they'll let you. But there we go. So it's tightened down. Good to go. All right, now let's go back to the big screen and we'll talk about it. And we're back. So you know what? That was pretty cool because I knew one day there was going to be a knife that I was going to strip or not be able to get apart or something. And that's the first time that has happened to where I was like, oh man. So we had a couple kerflunkles, but you know what? That's how I learned. And I'm going to learn about why there was that little bit of space in between there when I tightened this screw all the way down. I loosened this one. It didn't make a difference. So I'm curious what I'm going to hear. This screw I have sticking out just a little bit, but when I tighten it down, it separates from the back spacer. So we'll leave that for there for you guys to help me out on that. But look at the action on this thing. Holy cow. So if it wasn't for the little setbacks, everything else about this knife is amazing. And it could just be my particular example, the very knife that I got, and could be that I was using a worn out bit. So the rest of this knife is just super comfortable. It's rock solid. I mean, I would recommend it. It's just that I don't know if that was just my example and the fact that I had a worn out bit and then what's going on with the back spacer, which is probably human error. And how to take this off properly. And there's probably a tool for that. But just the knife itself, holy cow, it is super comfortable. Man, oh man, this thing you could take out and just look at that tip. Wow. So I really appreciate you guys going through this with me. That was a little rough, but you know what? That's how we learn, through adversity, right? So remember to live life in the present, keep a Band-Aid handy, and don't cut yourself.